UFC has just released Francis Ngannou from his contract, and Jon Jones and Ciryl Gane are fighting for the title. Also, Rafael Fiziev and Justin Gaethje are fighting at UFC 286 in London in the lightweight division in a huge fight. But just now in the UFC, Sean Strickland and Nassourdine Imavov fought in the main event of UFC Vegas. So today, I'm going to be giving you some more fights that the UFC should announce on top of these huge announcements. And at the end, I'll be giving you my predictions on Jon Jones versus Ciryl Gane and Rafael Fiziev versus Justin Gaethje. These are huge fights in the UFC, and I can't wait to talk about them. But starting off with the two fighters from our main event, Sean Strickland defeated Nassourdine Imavov by decision, and as you can see in the corner, I was pretty good on my picks, right? I picked him. Just saying. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. I picked Sean Strickland, bro. I told you, alright? I'm going to give him a good fight. I think after that win, he deserves someone kind of high in the rankings. Some people are talking about Whitaker. Slow your roll, alright? Slow the fuck down, alright? Let's do, if it'll load, Paulo Costa versus Sean Strickland. Who says no, right? Rankings-wise, it makes sense. Negotiation-wise, you can kind of explain this to Costa as like an easier fight for him. Probably a more winnable matchup for him. And I think it's a great fight to make in the UFC middleweight division. Two guys that are going to be very entertaining at a press conference, maybe a face-to-face if they start doing those for the Fight Night main events. Check out my video about how the UFC is boring and ways to fix it, if you want to hear more about that, okay? So I think that's a great Fight Night main event we can do in the UFC middleweight division, or maybe on a pay-per-view and Adesanya Pereira undercard. Maybe we could put that on there. Something like that. I think that's a great fight to announce for the UFC, and I think that makes a lot of sense rankings-wise as well. So we're moving on. Nassourdine Imavov unfortunately lost to Sean Strickland by unanimous decision, 4 rounds to 1 on 2 judges' scorecards. So I think he needs a bounce back that's going to be a 3-round fight, and maybe someone still in the rankings. You could rebook him against Kelvin Gastelum, but I think for the 3rd time, again, is it that good of a matchup that we have to see him beat Kelvin Gastelum, you know what I mean? When he's already ranked above Gastelum. So I think we should give him someone a bit further down the rankings that's still in the top 15. It's not Darren Till, okay? I know he's here in the picture, okay? It's just for emotional support. I'm going to do Nassourdine Imavov versus Chris Curtis. Chris Curtis is on the way up. He just got bounced back with a huge TKO over Joaquin Buckley. And Imavov's last win was against Buckley. He just lost to Sean Strickland, Chris Curtis's teammate. Excuse me, sorry. I think this is a good fight to make. Pretty exciting, especially over 3 rounds. This would be an amazing fight to make. This would fit perfectly as like the headliner of a prelims for a pay-per-view. Maybe UFC 287, 288, you can put this on the card. Whatever you want to do with this fight. Maybe not a Fight Night main event. Let's help Imavov out a little bit here if you want to get him kind of bouncing back. Still a tough fight for him. I still think Chris Curtis could win this, but this fits perfectly as a pay-per-view fight, especially on a prelim or something, depending on the card. And I think that's a great fight to make in the middleweight division. Let me know what you think down below, okay? Moving on to the featherweight division. Dan, 50K E-Gang! My boy helped me out so much. I was down, you know, Punahele Soriano lost, you know. Roman Kopylov looked great. I think he should get a good fight next. I didn't give him a fight here. I don't really care. I've got to be honest. But Dan Ige helped me bounce back by knocking out Damon Jackson in the 2nd round. And I think Dan Ige needs a bit more of a bounce back fight as well. He's still kind of rebuilding right now. So I'm not going to send him up the rankings. I'm going to send him down the rankings a little bit. Not too bad. I'm going to give him someone a bit tougher, who's coming off a great win, who's on a win streak. And I think still a taller guy as well. I'm going to give Dan Ige Jonathan JSP Pierce, okay? JSP's coming off a big win streak. He's on a 5-fight winning streak, I believe. Just beat Darren Elkins quite convincingly. And Dan Ige is at the bottom of the rankings. He needs a bounce-back fight. Still, he's kind of rebuilding, like I said. So I think this is a good fight for him. It's a taller guy. Very explosive, dangerous guy. Not an easy matchup for him. But again, it's a guy that's out of the rankings that deserves a shot at the rankings. And Dan Ige is the perfect opponent to do that. So I think this would be a pretty good fight. Could be like a co-main event of a not a pay-per-view, Jesus Christ. Co-main event of like a fight night, or maybe the opening fight of a fight night card, depending on the card. I think this would be an awesome fight. And tell me you don't want to see this shit, bro. Tell me you don't want to see this shit, bro. You know, yes, it may get very bad for Dan Ige, but he does have a chance. So I think it's a good fight to make. We're going to move on to Damon Jackson. Got knocked out in the 2nd round. He's going to need a lot of time off. And I know another guy who's coming off a huge layoff. He's going to need some time off. You can do this fight later in the year. You know, there's no rush. We're not in a rush to see this fight. I just think this is a good matchup for him when he comes back. We should do Damon Jackson versus Ryan Hall. Okay, bring Ryan Hall back. You know, give him someone that's close-ish to the rankings. but still winnable for him. You know, Damon Jackson stand up and eat some work, you know, and Ryan Hall can kind of take him away from that aspect of his game and try and get back into the win column in a comeback fight against Damon Jackson when he comes back, because he's had a couple surgeries. I know he's recovering, so this is a fight that you can make way down the line. If you want to give Damon Jackson a fight before then, if he's ready to come back sooner and you feel like you can bring him back, maybe give him like a winner of the Doo Ho Choi Carl Nelson fight next month. Maybe that'd be a good fight for him. But if not, then let's do Damon Jackson versus Ryan Hall in the featherweight division, okay? Gonna move on to the bantamweight division, okay? Umar Nurmagomedov brutally knocks out Honey Barcelos in the first round. It was amazing. It was an amazing knockout. Blew me away. Crazy knockout. So I am gonna give him someone up the rankings, someone that people have been kind of like tying his name to. Okay, you can't really send him too far up the rankings. But you also don't want to give him someone that's like right above him, like Pedro Munoz or something. So I'm going to say let's do Umar Nurmagomedov versus Ricky Simon. This would be an awesome fight. This could go really well on like the main card of a pay-per-view, like a Islam Makhachev pay-per-view in the middle of the year if he wants to come back quickly. Or maybe you put this on International Fight Week or something. Or, you know, if you have like a Fight Island card coming up, maybe let's do Ricky Simon, Umar Nurmagomedov on that card. Wherever you want to put this card, maybe like middle of the year, soonish, because Nurmagomedov didn't really take any damage, so this fight can actually happen quite soon. I wouldn't say UFC 284 soon, that'd be awesome, but I don't think it will. But we'll have to see. This fight could happen very soon. I think this makes sense. Ranking-wise, it'd be an awesome fight. Very interested to see how this one would go, and I think the UFC is probably interested in making this match up. So we'll see how many of these they steal, bro, because they're stealing my videos all the time. Like, it is what it is, you know? It is what it is, baby. You know what I'm saying? They're stealing all my fights, bro. So if they're going to steal them, steal this one, okay? Steal some of these ones from this video. Okay, speaking of, Honey Barcelos got knocked out brutally in the first round. He's going to need some time off as well. I think he needs to come back with a bang. Let's give him an awesome fight when he comes back. Let's do Honey Barcelos versus Davy Grant. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. This is an awesome fight, okay? Now that he's been knocked out, there's a chance Davy Grant could win, okay? And I love watching Davy Grant fight. I don't care who it's against. And I think rankings-wise, this kind of makes sense. They're both just outside the top 15. They're both kind of like those gatekeepers to like, you're a real fucking deal at bantamweight. And these two come to fight every single time. And I think this would be an awesome fucking like fight night, like co-main event on like a shitty kind of card. Like this would be like a savior to the... Like, if you have a fight night card that's like shit, right? You see this fight, you're like, oh, thank God. I'm excited for Barcelos versus Grant, you know what I'm saying? That's the way you put a fight like this, okay? Maybe on the prelims of a pay-per-view, like early prelims, main eventer. Any way you want to put this fight, please make this fight, UFC. Dana, I know you're sad that Ngannou left, okay? No, actually, he's probably happy, actually. But I know you're sad about those Conor McGregor picks, okay? I know you're sad about fucking Paddy Pimblett. I know you're sad about fucking... a lot of things at the moment, mate. You know, like like fucking everything in the UFC basically right now. I know that's upsetting you. This would cheer you up, I promise. This would cheer everybody up. The fans would love this fight, okay? So make this fight, please, okay? Moving on. Speaking of the bantamweight division, Javid Basharat won, okay? And I don't like what happened. They kind of forced him to make a call out, and he called out Chris Gutierrez. Javid Basharat, do you watch my videos, bro? Do you watch my videos, dude? He's not fighting you, bro. Chris Gutierrez needs to fight Song Yadong at UFC 285. That needs to happen, okay? Javid Basharat, you want a ranked opponent? You deserve one. You're an awesome fighter. I loved Basharat's fight against Mendoza, and his last couple of fights have been awesome. He's really a tough prospect, and I really think he can go far. So let's give him kind of a bigger name. Let's do Javid Basharat versus Pedro Munoz. Let's do it. UFC 286. Let's do it. Why not? What's stopping this fight from happening at UFC 286? This is a perfect fight to add to that card, you know? You've got Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. You've got Usman versus Edwards 3 is apparently on now. So my pay-per-view video, a lot of people are like, hey, bro, you know Usman's fighting, right? That was before he fucking said he was going to fight, okay? So shut the fuck up. Now we've got that. We've got a good little card forming here. Let's add this little bit to it, okay? I wish you could see the hand movements I'm doing. Shove this fight right up into UFC 286, okay? Yeah, okay. We'll add this shit to it. I think that'd be an awesome fight, genuinely. I think that'd be a really cool fight. And who doesn't want to see it? I think it'd be perfect matchmaking-wise, rankings-wise, and entertainment-wise. And on UFC 286, it would be awesome to see Basharat get a huge test and a huge opponent. So I think that's the fight that UFC should do. My last one, okay? Abdul Razak Al Hassan. brutally knocks out Claudio Ribeiro. Told you, I gotcha. Gotcha. I'm just obsessed with that Kanye meme. Sorry, dude. Don't demonetize me because I said Kanye. Anyways, he's coming off a huge knockout win. He lost to Joaquin Buckley. He called out Buckley again. I think we should wait a bit before we see that fight again. I like the idea, but I think one more fight you should do in the meantime is another guy who just fought recently, who actually won and is also kind of like rebuilding right now. Let's do Edmund Shabazian versus Abdul Razak Hassan. You know, every Shabazian fight now, I'm kind of like scared for him. You know what I mean? This is the perfect like scared for Shabazian fight, right? That he could win. He could definitely win this fight. You know, Al Hassan looks very improved as well. This is a very winnable matchup for him. I think this is an awesome fight to make. I think this would be very, very exciting. Both these guys, like, they've rebuilt enough to where I'm like, in their last performances, I can kind of see like either of them winning this fight. So I think this is kind of what matchmaking is all about, right? You want to build these two guys back up, but more, you probably want to build Shabazian up more, right? So I think I would lean towards Shabazian in this matchup, but this would be a great fight to put, again, on a prelims for a pay-per-view, at the co-main event of a fight night card, excuse me. Depending on where it is, maybe in California, you could put this as a co-main or an opener for a fight night card in California or something like that. There's so many places you can put a fight like this. Everyone would want to see something like this. And yeah, I think the UFC should make all of these fights. Let me know down below what you think of these fights, what you think the UFC should do with the guys from this weekend. And let me know your picks down below for Gane versus Jones, and Rafael Fiziev versus Justin Gaethje. I got Justin Gaethje by decision, and I've got Jon Jones by decision. Fight me about it. Talk to me down in the comments about it below. Alright, boys. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.